Traditional morning routines are too rigid and don't work for everyone, especially women and femmes juggling unpaid labor, work demands, and life's unpredictability. And the thing is that those very specific routines, very rigid routines, don't always align with the way we experience life. Now, of course, there's a caveat of the people saying, you know what, my morning routine, it's rigid, it's strict, it's only constant that I can have in my day because my day is so volatile. Great. If that works for you, amazing. Remember, it's about working with your energy and honoring your unique rhythms.
Sabrosura pa' ti que.
Hello, everyone. This is Pam, the Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast that features Latina and people of the global majority who break barriers, change lives, and make the world a better place. Welcome to episode 392 of Café con Pam. Today, it's just you and me, and I want to start with a question. Con una pregunta. Does your morning routine feel like a chore? Something you should be doing but doesn't quite work for you? Question mark. You're not alone, actually. Here's the thing. The world tells us that a strict daily morning routine is the secret to success. But what if I told you that for women, for polycyclical beings, especially those of us juggling lives, unpaid labor, work demands, and just life itself, this idea wasn't designed for us at all. Okay, let me share something with you. I used to feel so much pressure to have the perfect morning routine. I tried everything. I even made templates. I mean, you can go back into the archives. I have a whole workshop on morning routines because I was in that wheel of achievement of the perfect morning routine. From waking up at 5 a.m. to journaling, meditating, exercising, and adding all the things in there, including all the things the world says you have to do to be successful. Pero la verdad, it didn't work for me. I tried it for so many years. And the thing is some days unpaid labor like caregiving, cooking, cleaning takes over. And actually, studies show that women undertake about 3/4 of the world's unpaid labor. Let me say that again. Women undertake about 3/4 of the world's unpaid labor. This equals to 11 billion hours a day. Now, I'm based in the US. In the US alone, women spend about 26 hours a week on unpaid household tasks compared to men's 17 hours. So I already know when I said the earlier stat, some men listening were like, wait a minute, I also do unpaid labor. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, sir. Now, let's add households with children. This is where the imbalance is even greater. Now, of course, I love seeing now gender roles shifting. I live in a house where gender roles, at least with my partner, are not as traditional. We don't, have it defined like I cook because I'm a woman. Like he cooks all the time and we both do laundry. We both share the roles. And traditionally, how we have been socialized, because for me personally, how I was raised, because I grew up seeing all the women in my life do the things, I tend to default to those things. So it's this kind of like internal battle that I often have to remind myself, no, you don't have to do that. You can ask for help. También hay other days like work demands or even life's joys, like maybe a late night out, or you went to see the last showing of Wicked. I don't know. Sometimes those things take precedence. Like right now, I'm recording this in December of 2024. There's so many like holiday parties and events and Hanukkah dinners and friends like get togethers and whatever. Those things could result in me getting home late, which then means that I need more sleep the next morning. And so the rigidity of the one size fits all routine doesn't always fit in our realities. So let's just start with that. For me personally, that's when I started working with my nature, with understanding my inner seasons and the energy of the days. I realized that traditional routines were designed for linear monocyclical people. That's okay. If you're linear, if you have a morning routine and you do it to a T every day, I love that for you. Amazing. What I'm sharing is for those people that feel that that very strict linear routine is not quite supportive. And the thing is that those very specific routines, very rigid routines, don't always align with the way we experience life. Now, of course, there's a caveat of the people saying, you know what, my morning routine, it's rigid, it's strict, it's the only constant that I can have in my day because my day is so volatile. Great. If that works for you, amazing. There's some of us that may have the volatility of the days anyway and still need some shifts and additional supportive options. So, what we're going to talk about today is how to create a flexible, personalized plan called the Good, Better, Best plan. So, I came up with this out of necessity. And we are going to talk about how to transform your mornings in a way that feels supportive to you. All right. Well, traditional morning routines are often super rigid and restrictive, like we've been talking about. They set us up to feel like failures if we don't complete every step to perfection. Of course, we know life is nuanced, is contrasting, it's beautifully unpredictable. That's what we know. The only constant is change. And this is where I want to invite you to think about the earth and her seasons. In winter, animals slow down. We begin conserving animals, I put myself in there, but animals begin conserving energy and they start resting. In spring, however, and even in summer, they are busy collecting food, preparing for what's ahead. Our bodies have similar rhythms. We don't have the same energy every day, and we shouldn't expect ourselves to perform the same way all the time. Instead of sticking to a rigid routine, what we can do is we can work with our polycyclical nature and the energy of our days. And this is where I want to remind you of the good, better, best plan. This is a really easy framework that lets you adapt your mornings based on how you're feeling and what's happening in your life. Okay, so let's dive right into it. This is how to create your own good, better, best plan. Here's my recommendation. You want to kind of like have a really good day. So, a day when you're like, you have time, you have energy, you have sustainability, you feel sustained, resourced, complete, full, you have all the things. It's a good, good day. So, this is where you can start creating your best. You want to start with your best and then you go with good and then better. So, we want to ask questions for mind, body, and soul. We'll start with the mind. What is one thing I can do to feel clear and focused today? What is one thing I can do to feel clear and focused today? Best for me is to take all my vitamins, to add all the herbs to my water, just like I did today. This is why my water looks all kinds of funky. One of my clients once was like, "Are you drinking pickle water? Because it looks like it's pickle water." And I'm like, "No, it's just like a concoction of so many things." It's best for me. So making sure that for my mind, I take my gummies with all the adaptogens and the mushrooms that I create my morning concoction, that I only drink 2 cups of coffee. My best is I actually make my coffee with lots of intention and take my time making my morning latte. I create a I make a turmeric latte. That's my best. And then I also spend 30 minutes journaling, planning and reflecting. That's like when I have time, resources, energy, when all the things. Better, I still want to do my concoction in the morning for my mind. I still want to take my gummies. I still want to make sure I'm hydrated. I still could drink 2 cups of coffee, but I don't always get to my latte. So I could Better is I can do drip coffee. That's okay. And instead of journaling for 30 minutes, I journal for 10, 15 minutes. That's better. Good is like, actually, this morning was good because I had a call at 7 a.m. and I had to drop my brother off at the airport. And it was this like kind of like a perfect storm because my arrival time from dropping him off was going to give me just enough time to make my coffee and get into my call. And so I didn't have time to make my concoction, which I made it later, as you can see, I made it later in the day. And I did my good mind morning because I wrote down my priorities in 5 minutes. I also think in songs. So if you like music, and time sometimes could feel restrictive. This is an invite. Think about it in songs. So for me, 2 songs, 1 song, one of my favorite songs, I have specific songs that I use for this where I'm like, "Okay, this is a 4-minute song. I'll journal for this song." And then it doesn't feel as bad. Or sometimes if it feels good, I'm like, "Okay, one more song." So that kinda like removes the pressure of time, which is another restriction that we could give ourselves. So if songs feel supportive, great. So, good, write my priorities, journal for 5 minutes, just do my drip coffee, and like maybe take the gummies, not do the water concoction. Better, journal for 10, 15 minutes, do my concoction. If I have time to make my turmeric latte, great. If not, drip will do. And best is all of the things, including 30 minutes of journaling. And that gives you flexibility, you see? Okay, moving on with body. With body, we want to ask yourself, what is one thing you can do to feel energized and connected to my body? So, we'll start with good, better, best. So, for me, good is I will stretch. I get out of bed and I will just do like a 5-minute stretch, one song, stretch for that song. I'm a former dancer. I have lots of like stretching exercise. I'm also ADHD, which means I'm double jointed. There's a correlation there. That's for another episode. And that means that my body needs a lot of stretching all the time. And so, good, I get up, I put a song in my ears. For one song, I'm going to stretch. That's good for my body. Better, I'm either going to do a 15-minute yoga routine in my room where I put my mat like by my window so I can at least look outside. And 15, 20 minutes, we do some like slow movement. It could be a yoga routine in the morning or it could be a walk, whatever works, whatever time for. Best is I do a full blown, I go to the gym, I do a full movement session that feels good, that feels energizing. And even I would get into the sauna if I can. So that's like a full hour. Life doesn't always let you do that. However, you see how having a good, better, best gives you permission to be like, you know what? We good. We did the good one. One song we stretched many times. Sometimes when it's busy, I mean, it's good every day. It's good for 5 days in a row, and then we get to best 3 days, and then we do better like 2 days after that, Like it gives you much more flexibility. So then we move to soul. So soul is what is one thing I can do to feel grounded and nourished. So in my case, I am someone with high functioning anxiety. And so this is where I give myself space to really ask myself, how could I support my mind and my soul? And my mind and my soul, if I have inner peace, how could I give myself inner peace? Good. This is where I can, and I do this it's always good for me. Good is the moment I wake up, I say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I got this from La Tia Oprah. I heard her say that one time and I was like, oh, I love that. So thank you 3 times. The moment you open your eyes, you express gratitude for waking up, for having a warm bed, for, in my case, is for like having a window where I can look out and hear the birds chirp. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's good. Every day. I do this every day without fail. Even the days that I'm like, it's a little frantic. Better is where I either do a 10-15 minute meditation. Now, for me, meditation looks a little bit different because my brain, my ADHD brain is constantly moving. And so I need to move my body while I meditate. So either I get on a vibration plate and vibrate for 10-15 minutes, and that's what I use to meditate and calm my mind. I could also do a walking meditation. So I'm combining. I'm combining body and soul. I'm sometimes combining mind and soul. You see? So it's not super like I give myself flexibility. So quieting the mind, meditating for 10 minutes, drawing or doodling is also a very meditative practice for me. Ask yourself what helps you feel grounded. Sometimes better is also going outside and sitting outside, literally. And I have the privilege to have a patio now, a yard where I can go to my yard and like sit there. When I lived in my apartment, I had a tiny porch, and I would bring a chair and sit out and literally let the sun hit my face for 10 minutes. And then best, this is where I give myself space to go deeper, either in meditation, journaling, maybe even I could do some crystal work, much more spiritual type of work. I could pull cards, whatever you're connected to. I could like tend to my plantitas, talk to them. That's where you give yourself more space for something grounding. Ask yourself what feels good. And that's it. Mind, body, soul, good, better, best. 333. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I like to keep things easy and memorable. And that's it. Now, the beauty of this plan is that it's, as you can see, very adaptable. Some mornings, a good plan will be all you need. Other mornings, you feel ready to go all in with your best, and it feels so good. And when you have your good days, it still feels good. Here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. Traditional morning routines are too rigid and don't work for everyone, especially women and femmes juggling unpaid labor, work demands, and life's unpredictability. Understanding your polycyclical nature and your inner seasons can help you create a sustainable, flexible routine. The good, better, best plan is a framework to help you show up for your mind, your body, and of course, your soul in a way that honors your energy. For me, letting go of the pressure to follow a perfect routine has been so transformative. And of course, this is why I'm sharing it. Because on low energy days, my good plan is enough. It's plenty, actually. It feels sustaining, it feels supportive. And there are days where I'm feeling aligned, when I'm feeling grounded, and I go all in with the best plan. And I feel like on top of the world, which is great. So, I would love to see your good, better, best plans. Please do tag me on social media. Show me how you're making this work for you. Let me know if you would like a template. I'm all about creating templates. Okay, quick recap. Today, we explored why traditional morning routines often don't work and how to create a more flexible plan with a good, better, best approach. Remember, it's about working with your energy and honoring your unique rhythms. If you're curious about creating an adaptable evening routine, I have an exclusive episode coming to Cafe Con Pam Supporters Club. For just $5 a month, you're going to get access to that episode and so many other episodes, ad-free and exclusive episodes for Cafe Con Pam Supporters Club listeners. Check out the link in the show notes so you can join us and get access to that part 2 of this episode, kind of. If you don't feel called to do that, totally fine. You have here in this episode, you have the framework to create your good, better, best morning routine. You can adapt it to your evening routine. And if you would like to go a little bit more in depth, join us in the Supporters Club and we explore the evening routine portion. Thank you so, so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of the Café con Pan Familia. Remember, your mornings don't have to be perfect. They just have to work for you. Y bueno, That's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoy it. Would love to hear about what you think. Definitely leave us some stars on the platforms where you listen to your podcast. Drop a comment, subscribe, follow, rate, review, all the things that helps the podcast so much. Invite your friends, share it with someone, with your primas or with whoever. This is, I think, something you can listen to with someone and then co-create. Hold yourself accountable. Send it to someone and be like, let's create our good, better, best, and then let's compare notes. Why not? And let's stay connected at Cafe Con Pam Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. CafeConPam.com to learn about all the things we do in Cafe Con Pam land. And thank you so much for being here. Ahora sí, stay grounded, stay rooted, y como siempre, stay shining.
Sabrosura pa' ti que